What's up, everyone? Welcome to Project X Talk Extra, where we cover news, games, and whatever else that didn't quite make the main show. I'm your host, Kevin, aka the Muffin Mon, and today I'm joined by the human alpaca himself, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just coming off another, 10 and a half hour shift today.
Oof.
Ooh,
Oof.
yeah,
They
living the
better be
dream.
paying you well. They better be paying you well. That's all I'm saying. We also got Ethan, whose nickname I still haven't put in this
Mr.
part of the
Physical
document.
Copy.
Mr. Physical Copy.
Mr. Physical Copy.
How
At least I get here on
dare
time, Garrett.
How dare you let this
Yeah,
man
if
into
you show
my
up late too, I just call you
podcast?
Mr. Analog.
Mr. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. That's better. Mr.
I
Analog.
guess the double A man himself has made an appearance. Garrett, how you doing?
Well, I figured out that the little squiggly line on your thing does not mean that alarms will also make noise. Everything went silent, slept through my alarm, but hey, I'm here now.
You fool.
Oh, interesting. So fun fact, I sleep with an alarm, but I wake up to the vibration. I don't like
Really?
sounds.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
crazy.
You
Yeah.
Spider-Man sense,
I
man.
hate sounds. I literally keep it put it on the other side of the bed, and then I just wake up to the vibration. And that's how I wake up in the morning. Most mornings I
wow.
wake up about 2 minutes before my alarm goes off, so it's never really an issue. My body's
Oh,
just kind of
that.
like,
So you like to start off your day with a little bit of resentment, huh?
yeah, like I could have slept 2 more minutes. That's right.
I have to have one of those old school alarms that'll wake the dead when
Oh.
it goes off in order
Yeah,
for me
like
to wake up.
I have to have like a piercing alarm. I can't even have like
Yeah.
some melody to waking up an alarm. Like, no, I need some siren wail that'll make me think that the end is near to raise this guy.
No.
Only way it happens.
Well, okay, enough about alarm clocks and how we all wake up in the morning. We're here to talk about video games. Remember, guys, if you like our show, make sure to like, share, subscribe over on YouTube. We passed 300 subscribers and we're well on our way to 400. So if you haven't subscribed, please come over and do so. We appreciate it. Rate us on all audio platforms. And then you can subscribe to our Patreon if you want everything early, a few days, few weeks, depending on when we finish it. There's content over there. We store it up. So patreon.com/Project X Talk. You can subscribe at the $1 a month tier, get all our content early. But enough housekeeping and random jibber jabber. We're here to talk about CrossFire X and Game Pass. So CrossFire X was released today at the time of this recording. The first-person shooter is incredibly popular and successful in Asia. So when Xbox announced over a year ago it would be coming to Xbox as a timed exclusive, and that Remedy would be doing the campaign, people were excited. However, after dropping last night, the backlash has been quite fierce, with users reporting incredible input lag, boring and uninspired gameplay, awful dead zones, and much, much more. Friend of the show and IGN writer guy Travis said, quote, "I'm reviewing Crossfire X for IGN, and I just got access to the game along with the rest of the public." He added, quote, "After 6 hours with the game, I'm almost at a loss for words. I have no idea how this game was cleared for release. Some truly unforgivable game design, performance issues, etc. Unbelievable." So, Tom, you kind of brought this to my attention because I wasn't paying much attention to Crossfire X. I was all hyped up from the Nintendo Direct yesterday. Let's be honest, I didn't really care about this game. Crossfire X coming out as a flaming pile of garbage, apparently. And you wanted to discuss, does Game Pass have a QA problem, quality assurance, for anyone that doesn't know? I'm going to throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on Crossfire and Game Pass's QA process?
So when I brought this story up, I had a completely different take, and that has since changed since I clocked out of work. Which, by the way, I do QA for a living. It's boring. So Crossfire X, it's an anomaly, I feel like, in the Game Pass ecosystem right now. I feel like right now, at its current stance, we don't get a lot of games that come out in just like a horrendous state that this game has. Now, I feel like Microsoft should have been better to vet the game before they, like even just sign it on Game Pass. I don't know what their protocols are to get that get that process started. But I do know it needs some reworking. But I don't want to take away too much of the talking points later, so I'll let other people get their chance. Because if not, I'm just going to take up the whole thing.
Okay. Ethan, Crossfire X, have you seen the backlash online? What are your takes?
I have seen the backlash. I have not played it yet. It actually kind of makes me want to play it a little bit because I
Same.
love playing some broken games. Like I remember when Battlefield, I want to say it was 3 or 4 came out.
2042.
No, I'm talking about an old one where when you went prone, it made the head like go out like crazy, and you looked like a
Battlefield
snake.
3.
Battlefield 3, yeah.
Mhm.
That is what actually made me get that game, because everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, the glitches are hilarious, but it's still fun to play." But this doesn't sound like it's that sort of case. It sounds like it's just unacceptably broken. I mean, looking at it, Xbox has nothing to do with this. It's just the fact that it's exclusive. I'm really surprised that Remedy, of all people, let this slip through. That is a studio with a lot of pedigree. So that's surprising. But at the end of the day, Xbox can't really control this sort of thing, and you have to think they're not only trying to market to us as consumers, they're trying to market to these companies, these developers, to put their games on Game Pass. So if you're going to tell developers, hey, we have to QA your games before you put it on Game Pass, that's not going to fly with a lot of developers, I don't think. So I don't think that would be a smart move either. It's just bad games come out. It happens all the time. Battlefield 2042 is the same way. People didn't like Halo Infinite at launch. I mean, these things happen. So we just got to live with it.
Okay, that's a take. I will circle back around. Garrett, I'm going to you. Crossfire X, have you played it? Have you heard the backlash?
I haven't played it. Been reading up on the backlash for the last little bit, and he was mainly right. The main thing about this is, man, Remedy, you did not need like a ding on this. Like you're pretty elite. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to be releasing, I would say, half-baked games, but I don't think it even got to the halfway point.
Yeah.
Like from what I'm reading on some of this stuff, like people are saying like vehicles upon entering are just like hopping away and things like that. Like it's just hilarious little
I'm excited.
things. But yeah, no, step up. Crossfire was like, I think it was a legacy title. Like we all recognize it from when we were kids. They could have put some more work into it. But yeah, that's about it. I had the same hype level for this as XO1, so yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. All right. So I've listened to how these games get pitched. So essentially there's a team at Xbox wherein if you want your game on Game Pass, you go, you present it. And this happens a lot with the indie developers. You go to the ID at Xbox team, from my understanding, from what I've heard from people. And then they're either interested in helping you with your game or they're not. And then a lot of the times they'll be like, okay, that'd be great for Game Pass. And then you can work out that sort of deal. I find it hard to believe that I don't know the multiplayer, who makes Smilegate makes the multiplayer side. So I find it hard to believe that Smilegate went to Xbox and was like, can we get this on X? I feel like Xbox saw its success over in Asia and was like, this would be a great get for our platform. We'll get it as exclusive. It's huge. It'll help us in the Asian market. So they went, talked to Smilegate, and then they were like, you know what? Remedy is going to make a single player component for us. I just don't understand. Like, if it's so popular in the East, how is that not translating over here? Is it just because they messed the port up to levels we've never seen before? Because this is a PC game over in the East, right? This is the first time it's coming to console. So maybe they just don't know how to optimize. And maybe if we're talking about this game in 6 months, it's a different situation. Maybe the input lag is much better, dead zones, optimization improved. But I mean, I've never been personally impressed or expected much from this game. I think my big takeaway is, how does Remedy not put out a campaign that's good? They're amazing. I love everything Remedy does.
Yeah. And
Losing your
that
voice,
might have
man.
losing
You're losing your voice.
Yeah, I know.
That might be one of the reasons why, I mean, Game Pass guys just let this through because I mean, this Remedy's working on it. We don't got to worry about that. You know, that very well could have been the case because I mean, Remedy, you got control. And also Remedy has a relationship with Game Pass. They have games on Game Pass, so this isn't the first time they've done it. Yeah, one of you guys continue to point because I completely forgot what I was about to say, and I will figure that out.
I'm gonna throw it back over to Tom, our resident QA expert. So this isn't the first time we've seen a game launch into Game Pass and be pretty broken. I know Dungeons and Dragons, that game came out a few months ago, also received a lot of backlash. Personally, I thought that game was a lot of fun. Is it a good game? No, but I think we're seeing this maybe a little. I wouldn't even say we're seeing a little too much. There's rare instances, and then everyone adds them up and was like, "Well, Game Pass has a quality assurance problem." But what do you take? What?
So what I think about this whole thing is these games are going to slip through, regardless. I think the big takeaway that I have here, though, is this game was marketed heavily by Microsoft like a year plus ago, and then it started dwindling down heavily because they knew what was coming. So
yeah,
with all the new acquisitions we have with Microsoft, with Activision Blizzard, and Bethesda, we're going to start seeing more of those games as being the headlines that they're going to start hyping us up with. And I really feel like games like Crossfire X, they're not going to be on the presentations. They're going to be like the random game they throw in on Game Pass out of nowhere. Like, okay, cool, I guess, for those that wanted it. But there's not going to be like that hype factor behind it. And I think that's the issue specifically with this game. Not that it really came to Game Pass, but just the marketing structure from the beginning. You know, you saw that Microsoft had knew they had some promise, and then it just like, oh wait, we messed up.
I think that's a great point you bring up because people for the last month and a half have been like, why are we not hearing anything about Crossfire X? Like, it comes out very soon. The release date was kind of like, it was barely announced. You had to like scrounge to even know when this game was coming out. And then we were told for the last 1.5 years since it was announced, this isn't coming to Game Pass. This isn't a Game Pass game. And then we find out with this drop, the first campaigns in Game Pass, just randomly, like completely going against all the marketing that we had been told previously. So I think the writing was on the wall. And honestly, no reviews beforehand. The reviewers are doing it with everyone else. I think everyone knew this game wasn't going to be very good.
Yeah, I don't think that diminished the hype for it, though. A lot of people were excited.
Fair assessment.
Yeah. I did figure out what I was going to say. And I think it matters a lot. And so the whole conversation around whether Game Pass has a QA problem, I don't think that's necessarily a thing because of these bad games. I think it's just because they've been exposed so much. I mean, who the hell was going to play Dungeons and Dragons? But you're one of the rare people. But since it was on Game Pass, so many people played it. I mean, I think a lot of people are like me, is I'll play every single game they put on Game Pass at least once. And then I'll play a little bit, maybe a half hour of it. So I think this is also an issue of exposure. I think more eyes are on these games that aren't doing well. And I think that translates to some people as there being a problem, which I do not agree with. So,
well, we're running short on time here, guys. So does anyone have any closing comments? Personally, for me, I don't think it's a QA problem. I think this is more of a developer issue. We're seeing this outside of Game Pass as well. Tons of games coming out with issues. And honestly, yes, developers have a responsibility to make games good, but also just don't buy a product if you're not entirely sure. This is the whole reason reviews exist. And like, you have to be an informed consumer. I always stress this. Be an informed consumer. You don't spend a ton of money on something if you don't know what you're getting.
Just think of all the sales you're going to make for the next chapter. No one's going to buy it after that first taste on Game Pass.
They're going to have to put it on Game Pass for anyone to play it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Before we go, plugs, where can they find you, Garrett?
Way1G on Twitter and Xbox.
Tom, where can they find you?
Alpaca Tom on Twitter.
Ethan, where can they find you?
Find me at WhiteCedar1 on Twitter and Gravy3448 on Xbox.
And you can find me at the Muffin Mon. That's a 1 and 7 I and an O instead of an A. Follow us at Project X Talk to stay up to date with all of our activity. New videos dropping basically every day. So if you aren't subscribed yet, why not? Until next time, we will see you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.